So welcome back to Pass the Mic with Pastor D. We are back for another episode. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. As always, we are set for another exciting show. Today we're going to talk about the importance of men in the church. Yep, I know that sounds weird because you don't see a whole lot of men in church, but there is a need to see us in church. So today I have a huge panel of men with me today who can help us out. So I want to pass the mic first to my first guest so he can introduce himself, and then we will go right down the line. So welcome to our first guest today. Tell us who you are.
Algernon Moore, I'm the owner of Northeast Investments, which companies under it is I'm a real estate investor, residential and commercial. Also Blazer Grass, which is a lawn service, and Northeast Commercial Cleaners.
Wow. So before we go to the next one, do you have any contact information so I can reach out to you? How do they reach out to you? How would they get you?
My cell phone number, 252-548-4533.
All right. Now, do you have any social media presence or anything like that?
Oh, I'm not. I'm old.
Not yet.
Not
Old
yet.
school. Not yet. So he'll be on there soon, y'all. He's coming there. And next we have
Brad Wiggins. I'm the owner of Confidence in Traveling. I subcontract with one of your major carriers. I also deliver local goods. If you need moving needs, I work locally on the weekends. You can contact me on Facebook, Brad Wiggins, on my phone number, 252-267-7236.
all right. Let's trying to remember your number, right? Because you don't call yourself, right? So
Right.
try to remember your phone number. Be like, what's my number? That's what's up. So you do a lot of local moving as well.
On the weekends,
as well
I
as
do.
yeah,
Yeah.
on the weekends as well as big time stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Appreciate you. And our next guest here is
Javon Davis. I am the owner of the Bump Foundation Incorporated, as well as I work for ECPPS as a student academic and success coach. If you're looking for me, also you can find me on Facebook at the Bump Foundation Incorporated, or on Instagram at BumpNC, or on Twitter at BumpNC_. Email info@bumpnc.org, or also my cell phone number 252-732-5132.
so you heard well.
Hey, you won't
Very
find
well.
me.
So real quick, what does Bump do? What does Bump do?
So what we do is we help kids understand their why and their way. We put those two together. So a lot of times when kids come to us, that you're trying to figure out who they want to become, then we just kind of put a plan together so they can reach that goal, whatever that goal looks like. Some goals, it's case by case. Some kids want to go to college. Some kids want to work. Some kids want to go to the military. And some kids, they want to start their own business. Some kids just need a presence. They need somebody. So what we do is we provide them with professional mentors. We provide them with safe spaces. Again, we help them come up with a plan so they can figure out that way. And we help them get to wherever it is trying to go to.
That's what's up. So first off, y'all, we're already into the podcast. This is why we need our men in church, because we have a lot of young boys in church. So young boys need to see professional men in a setting that's not just the NBA, not just the NFL, but a professional setting where it gives them some goals or somebody they can talk to, a tangible person they can talk to. So real quick, either one of y'all, did y'all all grow up in church? Did y'all grow up in church?
Yeah.
That was a short answer.
Yes. So
that tells me something about that. That answer tells me something about what you thought of church coming up.
yeah. So I was required to go. My grandmom, she was heavy on going to church, so I was required to go. I went for attendance. I knew attendance more than I knew Christ. So yeah.
Like he said, I was enforced to go. I started like when we was 12 going regular. I was also forced to sing in the choir.
So who forced you to go? Was it mom?
Yeah, my mom.
Okay. How about you?
I was forced to go as well. I know in the morning was Sunday school, followed by service, and I was forced to go. I came from a religious family. My grandfather was a pastor, and you were in church. And on my mom's side, you were in church. I mean, so you weren't asked to go to church; you were told to go to church.
So who had you going? Who forced you to go to church? Was it mom or grandma? Who forced
Mom
you?
and grandma.
Mom and grandma. So that's the thing, right? So that's the thing that like rings out loud right then. Just from just those statements. Again, I went to church, and I went to church because Mom told me to go. But we went to church because our mother or grandmother
Right.
told us to go. It was not because our father or grandfather had us going. It was because our mother or grandmother had us go. So I wonder what effect church would have really had on us if it was our dads or our granddads really making us go. Because they would have went, because, you know, guys, we do stuff for a purpose. We like to do stuff for a purpose, right? We don't like to be doing stuff just to be doing it, right? Not saying women, that's all they do, but a lot of guys, we like, our time is valuable. We go for a purpose. What if our men had showed us, man, this is the path you need to take, and this is why? Would that have probably made you attract church or make church more attractive to you then, or what?
Oh, most definitely for me. I know my grandfather, my great grandfather, he only went to church when he had a new suit. If he had a new suit, then he was guaranteed going.
So that was Easter and Christmas?
Easter, and yeah. If he had a new suit. Now my grandfather, the one who raised me, bump.
Or EMS.
So for him, I never seen him go to church, never seen him pray. He would drop us off. He would give us money for offering and tithes, but I never seen him go to church, never seen him pray. It was up until he was dying. When my grandmom died, I took him to church. The only times I've been known to go to church, I took him to church then. And the only time I seen him pray is when my grandma was in hospital. I never seen that. Now, growing up, because of who they were to me, had I seen them more active in church, I would have felt like church was more of a priority, or I would just took it a little more serious.
Wow.
Because of who they were to me, and I wanted to model them so much. So yeah, most definitely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, like he said, like with my grandfather, he never went until, right to about the end of his life, and he would let us know clearly that if they're not feeding me, I'm not going.
Are you serious?
Yeah, he was like, I'm
If
not
they
going.
wasn't feeding,
He said, I'm not going.
if they
So-
had chicken and sweet tea,
Yeah, so church to me didn't really seem like a priority.
unless they had food.
Yeah, I mean, I ain't gonna say
No.
that. I went. But
That's what's up.
But during his last days, he went faithfully.
Yeah. Now, Aldon, you said your grandfather was a pastor.
Yes.
So what did you see in your grandfather that I don't know if this is the right question or not. You said you went to church still because you had to go.
Right.
What was it about your grandfather that did not make church still attractive for you?
He did not make me go. It was an option. I mean, he never pushed it.
Uh-huh.
So I guess he figured I would come along in due time, but he never pushed it. He never said, Algernon, or he called me man. He never said, man, you going to church. Or he never told my dad, son, you need to make your son go to church.
Right. Now, coming up, what did you do with your because you got 2 boys, right?
Right.
What did you do with your boys about church?
Be honest, transparent.
Uh-huh.
I pretty much I had the same attitude that my father had. I didn't make it. I didn't make it a priority. And my thing, I hate to say it now, but my focus was work. Or if I was off of work, I would say I'm too tired to go. So I didn't make it. I never made it a priority for my kids to go to church, or for me to take them to church.
Yeah, that's no shade thrown at all.
Mm-hmm.
Because I asked the question because that's typical of us.
Right.
Especially of us black men. If we learn the lesson, we're going to continue to teach the same lesson, right? So we didn't get taught to come to church or we got taught to made to go to church. So either one or two things happen. Either I'm going to repeat the same behavior or I'm going to go far left, right? And not go. So, yeah, I didn't do it. I think when I got to college and I was away from home, because I got made to go to church all day long, all week long. And I got to college, I'm on my own, like, yo, I still know God. I still love God. But I don't love church anymore. So I didn't go. So in my early part of my marriage, and early part of raising my children, I didn't make my kids go to church. Why? Because I didn't go to church. My wife did. And she took the kids. But if they didn't want to go, y'all ain't got to go. Because that was my nature. So I think it's real important to look at it that way. Brad, what did you do with your kids?
As of right now, they are made to go.
Right now, but
Yeah.
before, how about early on?
They've been going since.
Why they go?
Because I went.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So you made them go.
As of now, they still made to go.
Except for grown one.
Yeah,
He do. He's
well,
doing what he wants to do.
yeah,
Right?
he got his own apartment, so I can't.
You can't make him
I can't
go,
make
right?
him go.
I don't know. My mom still trying to make me go. I'm grown, away from home, and she's still trying to make me go to church. But yeah, how about you, Ron?
So my kids are young, so they ain't got no choice. They can't stay home by themselves. But I'll say this, because especially with me getting into church actively in the church later on at my big age, I started serving. So once my kids was born, I was already serving. So they see dad as a servant. So it's easier for them to want to come to church because a lot of times they see the behind the scenes stuff. They see us setting up. They see us breaking down. And then my boys enjoy children's church.
Yeah.
So in their mind, like,
fun.
right. So on days when I'm too tired to go to church, then they're like, I'm missing children's church. So they look forward to it. So, but that was one of the pieces I knew once I got married.
Yeah.
I wanted to reverse that piece. That's something I did want to reverse. So yeah.
That's what's up. So in either one of you. So what would have happened? What would have caused you at a younger age to want to enjoy church? Like, I'm sure y'all like me. I went to church. We all said it. We went to church because we were told to go to church, because we were made to go to church. But I didn't get into church. Like, I went to church, and I'm like, I never forget one Sunday, we were in the balcony at our church we grew up in, and me and other kids up there, we were playing. I'm up there playing in the balcony. And then my mom looks at me up in the balcony. She's in the choir. She looks at me in the balcony, points, and does one of these, like a Malcolm X moment. You know what I mean? She just did one of these moments, and boom. And I got one of them. Well, she's gone now. So I got one of them beatings, like abuse type beatings. You know what I mean? Because, again, I went to church just to play. I didn't go to church to try to learn about who God really was, or it wasn't attractive for me because, again, I would see the guys in church, some of the deacons, they pray this long prayer, and it sounds so good, but then after church, I see them smoke a cigarette.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, so what's the purpose of me trying to live any kind of good way if I see him smoking a cigarette? So it got me. So what would have made you guys really be attractive to church? What would have made church attractive to you at a young age if they had done this?
I think I idolized my father growing up. He could do no wrong. I wanted to be like him.
Mm-hmm.
So if he would have, took me by the hand or say, boy, get out, we're going to church. Yes, sir. I would have been there. And had he been a servant, I really believe that I also would have followed his footsteps.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I think that would have been I think that would have been a pivotal point in me getting involved in church, not just going to church, but, getting involved.
If dad was a role model
Yes.
in church.
Yes.
I feel it. I feel you. Yeah, my dad went to church, but he went to church after being gone all week, working all week long, after partying all week long, weekend long when he got home, and then he would go sometimes. But yeah,
And I want to say this: my dad did go to church. I mean, I don't want to make it sound like he was a heathen.
Yeah.
He did go to church, but he didn't go. He didn't go just like now. I didn't go as much as I go now. Mm-hmm. I'm older, much wiser. So, and I want we make sure our grandkids are here every Sunday. Mm-hmm. So, my dad, like I said before, my dad just kind of emphasized work.
Mm-hmm. Same thing.
Yeah.
Same thing.
I'll say with that, what would have made it attractive back then is what we do now, how the guys fellowship outside of church. I like the little things like the Super Bowl party or walking around cleaning up trash, or like what his wife do, put the trips together. To me, that would have made it attractive back then.
If men would have done something.
Yes.
Yeah. What do you see the men doing in church when you come up?
Like I'm doing, just sitting down and at 1 o'clock we gone.
Yeah.
That's it.
Nothing. No.
I didn't really see no guys serving.
That's the sad part, right? If you saw some guys serving, that would have made you want to serve, or made you help.
Right.
Yeah, that's good.
Church is too scary. Church is too scary, man. It was too scary. I remember on Tuesdays we had children's church, and we liked to we had this one lady, and she was top tier. Like, she would get all us in there, and like we had fun with her because we didn't have to lie to her. We could be transparent with her. But church is too scary, man. All we knew was we were going to hell. And I ain't want to go no place you can keep telling me I'm going to hell. Especially the stuff y'all said me going to hell for. I was doing it. So I don't want to go. So I got tired of being like, If I ain't had to go, I ain't want to go. And that was another piece too. Like, I kept hearing people say, I ain't been saved forever. So I want to know, okay, what you used to do?
Right,
They wouldn't say it.
Yeah,
But all I knew was they were perfect and I was a heathen. So it was like, man, it's too scary in this place. So the first moment they act like they didn't want me to be there, I was gone.
Go.
Yes, sir.
Go. So what age? So I told y'all I was in high school. When I went to college, I left the church. Did y'all ever leave the church?
Yes.
Not
Yes.
God, but did y'all ever leave church?
Quick.
Yes.
Quick.
Yes.
When did you leave church?
Probably 15. 15. Yeah.
Now, how did you feel about God when you left church?
God never left me. Never. I just knew, I wasn't perfect. I wasn't perfect to how church looked. I wasn't good enough to be there.
Ah, that's major.
I wasn't good enough to be there. So I just knew like,
You weren't good enough to be
I
at
ain't,
church.
yeah. Because kids my age were already shouting and talking in tongues. And I knew I ain't had it.
Right.
And there was things that I was doing. Again, I wasn't good enough. So I knew I had no business being there. I better off being where I was at. I prayed with my grandma, and she always told me to pray.
Right.
I prayed with my grandma, but I wasn't good enough to be there. So 15, I was done.
Wow.
I was done.
Wow. So the church made you feel like you weren't good enough to be part of the church.
I never forget. It was one Sunday. I never forget it. My grandma was a faithful servant of my home church, and I never forget. One Sunday, it was one night. I had a wild night, and something hit me. I said, you know what? I'm gonna give my life to Christ. And I remember praying, and I gave my life to Christ, and I called my grandma in the middle of the night and said, hey, I'm saved. Now I want to go to church that next morning and do the walk. You know that long walk. I said, I'm gonna do the walk. And my grandma, she got up and prayed. She got up for prayer in that prayer line. You know, it's a prayer line, and you want to get saved. Those two lines be together. And I got up with her.
You're talking about a certain style of church.
Yeah,
man.
yeah,
It's,
yeah.
It's kind of
You wouldn't-
dear to my heart. So please don't call them out. Please don't call them out.
right. So I remember that Sunday, my grandma had already told people in church I got saved. And the guy that was, I don't know, he wasn't even a pastor, but he was up talking. He said, yeah, because Brother Davis, he hanging in those streets, and he found Christ. So that was one.
He called you out like
He
that.
said my name. That was one. So then he got the, and in that type of church, everybody get the mic, got to do some preaching. And he said again, because yeah, Brother Davis, even in the streets, God still found him. So that was two. So you done got me. So I had intention of doing that walk, but I had my mind made up, like, if he's going to be the one doing it, or I don't feel comfortable in front of these people, declaring, like, that I've given my life back to Christ. So I walked my grandma up there for a prayer, and he tried to put his hand on me and pray, and I looked in his eyes, and I told him, you better not pray with me. Don't touch me. Wow. And my grandma looked at me, but my grandma knew how I was. And he knew I was serious, but I knew then, like, I'm not coming back again. Like, I can't. But that right there just showed me, like, you don't belong here. Wow. So I thought. So, yeah.
And when did you come back?
I got to college, man, and I knew I needed church, and I found a church in the city. And I was like, well, shoot, I seen how they were doing things, and they were talking about stuff different what I used to. I heard about, in the Bible, all I heard about was you going to hell, fire and brimstone. But when I found out, like, there were scriptures talking about relationships, there were scriptures talking about maintaining your money, there were scriptures talking about just being a better person. Oh, I like this. I like this church thing, this God thing. I'm with it. So yeah.
That's what's up. Cool. Brad, you said you left? You
Yeah,
did leave?
I went off and on for probably 10 years.
At what age was that about?
25 to about 35. I wasn't, and it wasn't nobody pushed me out. Wasn't made to go. I was old enough to get in the club now, so
Right.
I had other things to do.
But why was church not attracted to you at that time? What
Well, growing
made
up,
church not
growing
attracted
up,
to
like out of all my friends, I was the only one really made to go to church. So church was always uncool in my friends' eyes.
I got you.
So,
Always uncool.
so once I got old enough that I didn't have to go, I was hit and miss a lot.
I feel you. Yeah, it was your choice then.
Right, yeah.
Did you stay in church all the time or what?
No. When I became a teenager, is when I old enough to make my own decisions. When my parent let me make my own decision, I kind of faded away. But I still had Christ. I always had Christ in my heart, in my soul, and I stayed away a while. And I was the Easter Sunday. I would go to church on Easter Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
And besides that, I stayed going for years. I would go occasionally, but I was late. I was older when I got back in church.
Wow. And what brought you back?
That's a lot, God. That's a lot, that's a story within itself. But I had been, my wife, I had been, you stay away so long, it's really no big deal. But I had a situation that happened in my life in 2018 that was really eye-opening. And I was sick. And when you get sick, which you ask God, if you bring me through this, I'm yours.
You get me through this.
And he did. And ever since then, I'm faithful servant. So it was, yeah. It's bad it has to come to that, but better late than never as well.
But that's a reality, though.
Yeah.
That's a reality. Like, most of us don't go to church. That was probably my story. That was probably me. I probably went back. Well, I really went back because of Michelle. She was going to church. I was trying to win her. So, hey, I need to go to church because I got to win her. It wasn't because I missed church so much. It wasn't because I wanted to get back in church so much. It was like, she going to church. That's all she do is church, and I want her. So I need to go to church. And even when I went back, it was still church. It was still the church that I left. I'm like, yo, I've been going this long, and it's still the same. Like, when is it ever going to change? And, but again, so I went to church just to go to church again. And then I started studying different religions. And that caused me to find out more about Christianity. Because I saw some of these other brothers. I saw the 5%ers. I saw the Muslims on the streets. And I saw the dedication because I was in Baltimore.
Yeah.
So I saw the dedication they had selling bean pies or the final calls, and they were dedicated. They were like militant. They were the boom, boom, boom. And it was attractive to me.
Yeah.
So I started studying them, you know what I mean? And then I started studying other stuff. I started studying Jehovah's Witnesses because they were dedicated.
Yeah.
They were dedicated. They weren't the Christians who just went to church on Sunday morning. They worked the streets.
That's right.
They went to your house.
That's right.
I mean, they did stuff. So
That's right.
that was me like, yo, they're doing something.
Yeah.
And I was a guy that, I never wanted to be part of anything where somebody wasn't doing something.
Yeah.
And when I saw the Christian church, I didn't see them doing anything.
That's right.
I mean, they did stuff in church.
Yeah.
I never saw them in the streets.
Yeah.
I never saw them walking the neighborhood.
Yeah.
I never saw them cleaning the streets in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I never saw them doing stuff with men. So I'm like, yo, I don't want any of that. And then I just started, like you said, you met the church, but I started reading the Bible and asking God to reveal it to me in a way that I understand it. So that was a challenge too, because the way they talked, I didn't understand the language.
That part. Yeah.
I didn't understand the language. I didn't understand the those and the thous, and
Yeah.
I just didn't get it. I didn't get it, man. And then they would go to church just to tell the Bible story. I'm like, well, I can read that myself.
That part.
My life wasn't getting changed.
Yeah.
Even after I was going with as an adult, I was like, my life wasn't changing. So I started seeking God for myself, and that's what pulled me more into church. You said you left, you came back, you was at like 20-some years. What brought you back to church?
Probably my wife, like you said. I started going back with her. But this time different, I experienced God.
What you mean by that?
Getting in situations that only he could get me out of. So having nobody else to lean on, and he humbled me.
Yeah.
So when I came back this time, now I know I'm planted here. I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah, you locked in now.
Right, now I am. I got to try to transfer that to my children, why I go. I haven't figured that out yet, but,
Yeah.
like I said, right now they made to go. But right now, it's God.
This guy got you locked in. So listen at this. So now I don't want you to answer. I don't want either one of you to answer this question just because I'm asking the question. And answer the question the way you're going to answer it because of where I'm asking it. But I want you to be honest. So all three of you guys now are in church and y'all are here at Victory. What makes this experience different than your other experiences?
Let me go first.
Now, I said I'm asking that not because I want you to blow up Victory by
Right.
any means. You know what I mean? But it's different.
Yes.
It's different. And why is it different?
It's different. Number one, I see more men here. That's first and foremost. I stand every Sunday. I stand and I look and I see. I'm like, wow, that's a lot of men here. I've never seen that in the past. I've seen a few men, but I've never seen, as many men, the male presence here. And two, the kids, the youth. Like you said earlier, my grandkids, they're calling us if we're late. We're not going to school. We're not going to church this morning. When my wife and I are away, we can't make it. The grandkids are calling, saying we're not going to church today.
Yeah.
So I mean, those two, that's what sets Victory apart, and the fellowship, and also serving the community. I've served community in the past. I've served in my previous church. I've served on the board, but it's just it's something about Victory. And if I can tell a quick story, my wife asked me to come to Victory. And I was like, okay, being a man, like, okay. And I when we came one Sunday, I know a lot of people here. I knew a lot of people here, excuse me. And I like the atmosphere. And I'm like, and I felt God's presence here. And how can I say it? I fell in love with Victory. And my wife, I think it was maybe 2 or 3 Sundays, I know I'm messing up. My wife says, I think I'm going to join Victory. I think I'm going to join church. I just want to let you know. I said, okay. I had no intentions on okay. I watched the kids, grandkids. And the Sunday that we joined, I think I beat my wife up here. So I know I kind of got sidetracked, but those were the things that stood out to me here at Victory. I just felt like, I don't know if you've ever been, this is home. This is where I need to be.
Yeah. That's what's up. Brad?
What make this experience different? Now, I'm engaged with the people here. Like, Victory here, I don't care what problem you got, there's someone here that's resourceful.
That's major.
Here is very beneficial here. I don't care if it's real estate, investing, mechanic, plumber. Somebody in Victory knows somebody or they can do it themselves.
Yeah.
Right.
Very, very beneficial going here.
Yeah.
That's what make it different from my previous experiences.
That's what's up.
I think for me, man, I think we just do church different. And when I talk about do church, you grow up and you hear the same hooting, the same songs, the same, what time they're going to shout. Like, you know that routine. But just knowing we're doing things outside of that norm. When I say outside of that norm, the guys already touched up on it. The fact that we're serving. Like, we do church outside the building. And that's something like that really attracted me in my home. Like, the fact that we don't just leave our church or leave what we do on this altar. We go in the community and we serve. We really, really, we say every Sunday, put hands to the plow. That's the part that we do. But then knowing we have a true community. The guys, we get in our group chats and we joke, or we get around each other and joke. I never thought my closer friends would be my church friends. Right. Never thought that,
That's major.
But seeing like that's what we do. And so when you hear people say the term church family, and that piece of family is real when you talk about Victory, because we're not just people who praise every Sunday. We are legit family, and we know that. Like, we've seen times. I know my own son. I've seen times where my kids are like, "Hey, I gotta get my son, but I'm late here, and 9 people. I got him. Where's he at? Oh, I got this." And that's not just my kid. That's all of our kids, all of our family. So that's one thing I appreciate about being here, because I feel like we just do it different, and I can do this. I like this.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I thought you could say it was music.
Oh yeah, the music's good too.
I thought you said music.
It's good too, but no, we do it good here. We do it good.
Yeah,
I like it here.
Yeah. So question for you, Brad. So if there's a pastor watching right now, if the pastor's just having to find our podcast, what would you say to him or her that would give him one tool, maybe 2 tools, that would help him or her get more men in the church like there is at Victory? If you were talking to them, if they were watching, what would you say to them?
I mean, I would say like how we do. Like, we're very engaging. Like, I know Sean get upset sometimes when we don't answer his text messages fast enough. But what Sean do, reaching out, like taking the time to try to get the men together. Some people want to do it, some people don't. I mean, that's a tool I would give.
Yeah, that's cool. What would you say, Adrian? What's a tool you would give a pastor or somebody who's watching a tool to get more? Because, you said earlier, that's the reason they got you here, that you looked around and you saw a lot of men in the church, and that attracted you. But that's not the case in most churches. We're really blessed. God really blessed us to have a church where we have just as many men. I remember I did a Father's Day giveaway one year, Mother's Day and Father's Day giveaway, and we bought gifts for every father, every woman. And I think that year we had like 2 extra gifts for fathers that we didn't have for women,
Wow.
and that
Wow.
blew my mind
Wow.
because that's usually complete opposite.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So what would you tell a pastor, maybe something or tool, 1 or 2 tools that they could use or they should try to get more men in their church?
To call the men out, make them, hold them accountable. We as men, we don't like to be called out, but if you call them out, make them accountable, put the feet to the fire, and let them step up. I think that'd be beneficial. I'm speaking from experience. Either you're going to sink or swim, and we as men, we don't want to fail. We don't want to look small in our family's eyes. So I think that would be one thing that we could do that could be done.
Cool. How about you, Vaughn?
I would say, as a pastor, just to be the example. I think a lot of times when men don't like being outdone. So when you see another man doing something, not as copycat behavior, but it's like, well, let me help too. You know what I'm saying? So like for us, it's easier for us here because we're following your lead. So when you're the first one to change the light bulb, it's like, all right, any more light bulbs need to be changed? Or, if you're standing back cleaning the church and it's like, well, shoot, I can at least vacuum, you know what I'm saying? But along with that, if you're going to be an example, like make sure you have to be cognizant of the example you're going to be. So you're talking about if you can't say I want more men in the church, but you're particular about the type of men you want in the church. So again, if you're going to be the example, you have to be okay with saying, you know what, I want you as you are, and whatever you can bring, and we're gonna work with that. Cause that's how God does. I want you as you are, whatever you can bring, and I'm gonna work with that. So yeah.
And that is kind of my heart, man. And I think that is probably one of the reasons that we have more men. Like, I feel bad sometimes. I talk to pastors and they're like, man, men just won't come to church. I just can't get men in church. And I'm looking like, that ain't our testimony, man. Like, and I want to ask them for real, like, so what are you doing? Like, what are you doing to attract men? You know what I mean? Like, ants like food. You leave food out, ants gonna come around. So what are you doing that attract men? So find out what it is that men like. If you're a male, or if you're not a male, if you're a female pastor, find out what men like. You know what I mean? And start doing some of those things that they like. And you pull them in. And the big key I think you said here, one you said was take them for what they are. Right? So some of us, a lot of us, we just mentioned our wives got us in the church, right?
Yeah.
We wasn't there, right? So if the pastor had pulled me aside when I was going chasing after Michelle, if the pastor pulled me aside and said, hey, man, I'm glad to see you in church, but this is the role of a man. This is what you should be doing. Hold me accountable, but yet reach me where I am.
That part.
And I'm excited that you're coming to church, but look, this is our role. This is what we should be. This is how we should lead our household. Not just come in being the boss, telling them what to do, but we got to lead them in our giving. We got to lead them in our serving. We got to lead them.
Yeah.
If he was just being transparent to me and being real with me, and find out what I need, like, men, we need that.
Right.
So if you would tell us that, then I think we could do that, man. I think you'll attract more people. And then, like y'all all said, we're doing stuff.
Yeah.
Men want to. We don't want to just chill, do nothing.
Yeah.
We want to be doing something. So, my goal here is to have us always doing something.
Yeah.
Getting together, a phone call, the text, the joking, all that stuff. It's real. And I think a lot of times, if we show our kids, our boys that, they're gonna do the same thing. They're gonna follow our behavior. They're gonna follow us. Some of them gonna go their own path, just like we all went our own path. But we all came back, right? Because of some of the stuff we learned coming up. So yeah. So this is. So why is it? Probably the last piece here. Why do you think it's important? Because you can still be a good, strong man. Why do you think it's important for them to be in church? Why do you think it's important for men to be in church?
I think it's important because we need to be taught. And I think this is a thing that is kind of falling to the wayside, is being taught about Christ and who Christ is,
Yeah.
and what he's done for us,
Yeah,
what he's
yeah,
doing for us, and what he's going to
Yeah, yeah.
continue to do for us.
Yeah, yeah.
So I think that's to teach. I
Mhm.
think that's what's important.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's important because, like I spoke on earlier, we were the group of guys that's believers that nobody up here is perfect. You know,
Right.
I can reach out and I can call anybody up here 3 o'clock in the morning,
Yeah.
regardless if you pick up or not. I got
Right.
everybody up here number. So I think it's very important. So to have
That's
somebody
amazing.
to lean on.
That's real.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's real.
That you could be masculine and you can and still go to church.
That's real. That's real. That is strong.
That part. That's the one.
That is strong because because man, for me, I didn't see the strong men. I really didn't see. Even the men who came to church, to me, they weren't as strong because I ain't talking about the ones that's flamboyant. I'm not talking about them either. I'm talking about even some of the men that just,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I got some females watching, so I ain't saying I ain't gonna put them that down, but they just did whatever they were told. You know what I mean, and they didn't lead.
Yeah.
And I need to see men that lead. You know what I mean? That's my example, and not being a boss, but leading.
That part.
You know, so yeah,
But to piggyback off what both of y'all saying, I think that's the piece what we're saying. 'Cause that part about leading and that part of having that safe space, iron's gonna sharpen iron.
Mhm.
So having one man who are of faith, having more men who need a safe space or need accountability partner, but they're also leading, and you have all that in the same room, we're only gonna get better together. We're only gonna get better together. And you're talking about having good, clean fun. You're talking about having good, clean relationships, and you're talking about still holding each other accountable. Like, we're only going to get better together, mainly because we had the same goal.
Right.
One, we want to serve, and we want to make sure we protect. We want to make sure we serve our Father the right way. But at the same token, we're going to look out for our brothers to our left and our right, because we understand, like, hey, like, you're valuable to a group of people outside of this building, and we need you to be great at that. Whatever being great is for that group of people, we need you to do that. So having men in the church, growing in those areas, leading in their own facets of life, and still spreading the word of God, I think, hey, that's needed. That's needed. That's
yeah,
key.
yeah. So I said last thing, but this is really my last thing. You know, Pastor always say one more thing, and they still got three, four more things.
Yeah.
But I just thought of something when y'all were talking, and all three of you guys are entrepreneurs. All three of you guys own your own businesses, and not just 6 months. I mean, y'all have been doing this thing for a minute now.
Yeah.
How do you think your relationship with Christ impacted you being an entrepreneur? And I say that because there's a lot of young brothers out there who want to be an entrepreneur and just haven't found their way yet. And I just keep it 100. They're just hustling. You see what I'm saying? It's a difference than being an entrepreneur than being a hustler.
Almost
And I ain't talking about selling drugs. I'm talking about just whatever it is you're doing. You know what I mean? But what is it about your relationship with Christ that's helped you on that side? Either one of y'all.
With me, faith, first and foremost, because when I started, I had a lot of naysayers. And naysayers, people just never did it, thought it wouldn't be successful. And if it had not been for Christ, me believing, I would have fed into that. But my faith is what stood strong. And I think that's faith is, to me, faith is most important.
Yeah.
That's number one for me. That's what's kept me where I am. That's what's giving me, continues to give me my strength,
Yeah.
my faith. I believe in God, and I can't fail. That's just my mindset.
That's what's up. Because you believe in God, you can't
I cannot
fail.
fail.
Whew, I like that one. Because I believe in God, I can't fail.
That part.
Yeah, I like it.
And like he said, it was faith. Like, it gave me the courage to get out there to actually leave a job like that I did for 14 years and I was good at. So, and like
So you quit your job
quit my job.
after 14 years
Yep.
to start your own business.
Yep. That was due to my faith in God. And I went and Googled a synonym for faith and it was confidence. So I named my business Confidence in Traveling.
Wow.
All right.
I didn't know that one, Brad.
It's all right.
Yeah. That's what's up. Cool.
I think for me, knowing it's been important for me because I don't move unless God speaks.
That's right.
I don't move anything. Bump doesn't do anything until God says go. I've seen times we'll have events and on the final minute when it's time to press play and say go, God will say, all right, now do it this way. And I got a whole plan line up. God said, no, do it this way. And just trust me. But I've learned because prior to me even starting Bump, I remember I tried to do other things. And none of those things worked because that was all what I wanted. Now, again, once God gave me this ministry and once God let me do this, I've seen it be better because this is all him doing. Mm-hmm. So nothing goes. Everything I do, when people ask me when's the next thing, I can't do it unless God says time. And so because of my relationship with Christ, because God's let me know, okay, all right, I need this now, that's when I know it's going to be successful. I know it's going to be great because I'm doing his work, not mine. Wow. So because of any young entrepreneur, if you want to do anything, if God is not in it, it's not going to be successful. That's because right. He's going to be the one that's going to make it propel. That's right. So I've learned, all right, God, you need this? Okay, good. I know it's going to work. I don't even question. I don't question where the resources are going to come from. None of those things because God got it. Yeah.
Can't fail.
Can't.
Wow. So I got you. So then, watch this. So as we finish, and we're going to go down the line here. Okay. I'm sure there's going to be some brothers watching this podcast who is fed up with church, who said, man, I ain't going by it. I love God, but I ain't going by the church no more. I just ain't got time for it no more. What would you say to them to encourage them? It's like, no, man, the church is where we need to be. What would you say to them? If somebody's watching the audience, man, look at them, and if they're watching, tell them what you would say to them. It's like, man, give it another shot. Give church another shot.
I would say church is real.
Yes.
But your faith is even stronger. So if you are from church, even if you've never been in church, give God a try. He will not let you down.
That's good.
I would say if you're locally, don't mind driving that far, give Victory a try. Just try us out one Sunday.
Yeah. And why would you say that? Why would you say Victory a try? Why would you say give Victory a try?
Because I've been to many different churches, but Victory, I got plenty here. Right. Like I guess caught the bug, as you say. Yeah.
And what would you think would make them like Victory more?
We do church different, like he said. We not your traditional church. You don't have to come here in a suit, a 3-piece suit. Yeah, you come here as you are.
That's good. Yeah. That's over here. Yep.
To the ones that are struggling, honestly, it's a marathon. It's not a sprint. And just know because the church may have hurt you, God didn't. He's very much present, especially when you feel like he's the furthest away. He's literally right there. Those footprints prayer you've ever heard of, he's right there. My advice is, especially now because of the way the world's set up, get you a Bible plan that is tailor-made for you. Literally type in a word of how you're feeling. If you're feeling like hurt, type in the word hurt, and there's a plan for you. And just let God guide you in that area. Still find time to pray. Still find time to have a time with God. And when you're done with all that, 718 Greenleaf Street. But just make sure you and God stay in a relationship. God's going to plant you in a place where you can grow, but make sure you still stay in a relationship with God. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's what's up. Fellas, thank y'all so much for being open, being honest, being transparent with some of your own struggles, and just telling the people, man, how it is having a relationship with Christ and how important it is, that relationship with Christ. For those who are watching, y'all, if you're a pastor, I would encourage you to just realize that you need men in your church, and they're going to help you grow your church. Typically what happens, if the male comes or the father comes, the wife and the children come along with them. So I would encourage you, if you have some strong men in your church, teach them some strong biblical principles. Start teaching them strong biblical principles and not just the normal Bible story. They want to learn. Men want to learn. Men want to grow. Teach them that. and give them a space where they can grow. Don't be so judgmental on them when they come in. Meet them where they are. And once you meet them where they are, trust and believe. If you cause them to build a relationship with Christ, they're going to grow, and they're going to help you grow your ministry. So I just thank y'all so much for chiming in. Thank y'all for tuning in to Pastor Mike with Pastor D. Like, subscribe, share on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, X. Please. Thank y'all so much. Peace.